Good afternoon. You know you've got good staff when someone can sew a button on a suit. We're going to begin our program today by honoring a number of mayors for their efforts to address climate adaptation and conservation, specifically to celebrate local climate action. This is our 17th Mayor's Climate Protection Awards, and we recognize these mayors for their leadership on the climate challenges before us and for their successful programs. These mayors show us that where there is local climate action, there are local results from mitigation to adaptation. Let me recognize our partner on these awards, Walmart, and thank Walmart for their sustained commitment to honoring mayors for climate leadership. Our next speaker is our longtime friend and partner. As Walmart's Senior Director of Public Affairs and Government Relations, she's been with us every year of these awards. Please welcome our partner and our friend, Amy Hill.
Mayor Suarez, thank you so much for that kind introduction. I'm so happy to represent Walmart today at the opening lunch of the U.S. Conference of Mayors annual meeting because I get to recognize the great work of cities around the country on the issue of climate protection. Walmart is on a journey to become a regenerative company, one dedicated to placing nature and humanity at the center of our business practices. In practice, regeneration means making a positive impact on people and the planet by removing barriers to more sustainable behaviors and giving back in our communities. Regeneration is not just a set of programs, it is part of the ongoing work to build a good, resilient business. And this work is rooted in our purpose to help people save money and live better. One example of how we're removing barriers and making it easier to help customers is the following. Earlier this year, just about a month ago, we announced plans to build our own EV fast charging network at thousands of Walmarts and Sam's Clubs locations coast to coast by 2030, in addition to the almost 1,300 fast charging stations we already have available at more than 280 U.S. facilities. We're excited about the unique position we have to make EV ownership more accessible, reliable, and affordable across the country, whether people live in rural, suburban, or urban areas. Easy access to EV charging will be a game changer for drivers who have been hesitant to purchase an electric vehicle due to concerns that they won't be able to find a charger in a bright and safe location when needed. We look forward to collaborating with many of you and your cities as we work towards making these services available in our communities. Thank you. At the same time, we continue to accelerate our efforts to transform our business and product supply chain to be more regenerative. We know that we must go further than slowing down climate change and protecting what we have left. We must transform together. Walmart is targeting zero emissions in our own operations by 2040, not just in the US, but globally. And we intend to achieve this without carbon offsets by harvesting enough wind, solar, and other energy sources to power our facility with 100% renewable energy by 2035, moving to cooling equipment that uses low-impact refrigerants, and developing a zero-emissions fleet, including long-haul trucks, by 2040. These goals are ambitious, and we will need innovation and infrastructure to get there. A few things I'd like to highlight. In 2021, an estimated 46% of our electricity needs globally were supplied by renewable sources. Through systems installed at our facilities and through purchases with external providers, we aim to harvest enough wind, solar, and other energy sources to power all of our facilities with 100% renewable energy by 2035. We have more than 600 on-site and off-site projects and utility programs and partnerships in operation or under development in over 10 countries. According to the EPA Green Power Partnership, Walmart was the top retail partner in terms of annual green power usage. With respect to transportation, we are working to electrify our fleet and reach net zero emissions from all of our vehicles and transportation network, including long-haul trucks in the US and Canada, again by 2040. To accelerate progress, we're looking to meet the unique demands of our business with a portfolio of different technologies. We are piloting different technologies in our US fleet. Last year, for instance, we announced plans to purchase over 6,000 electric delivery vehicle vans for our last mile delivery fleet as we strive to electrify our last mile offerings to customers as much as possible. We are also working to transition long-haul heavy-duty Class 8 tractors where there is currently no scalable solution to decarbonize and infrastructure to support these vehicles is currently not in place. To help overcome this barrier, we test solutions and provide feedback to manufacturers to ensure new technologies meet the needs of Walmart and other large fleets. For example, earlier this year, we debuted the first North American compressed natural gas engine linked to renewable natural gas. This truck made its inaugural trip from neighboring Indiana all the way to California. We worked to test this technology on the road. We believe that we can act as an industry leader to articulate the necessary changes that will lead to a zero emissions future. 17 years ago, Walmart started on our journey to become a more sustainable company, and it is no coincidence that our partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the nation's mayors themselves started 17 years ago as well. A special thanks to Tom Cochran for this partnership. You are simply the best. And I love the scooter. We all together share the desire to make a positive and meaningful difference for communities. And we've made a lot of progress on climate, waste, nature, and economic opportunity for people. But it's not enough. Collectively, we must do more. Walmart cannot do this alone. We welcome the opportunity to work with each and every mayor here and across the country to address these issues. Congratulations to our winners, and thank you to all of you and to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for all that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Walmart, for your strong support of this important partnership on climate. Now let's honor our 2023 Mayor's Climate Protection Award winners. I'd like to recognize our honorable mention winners in the small city category. Our first small city honorable mention winner is Brookhaven Mayor John Ernst. John, take a bow, buddy. Mayor Ernst is being honored today for his city's tree canopy sustainability and growth program. This initiative was prompted by the loss of the city's tree canopy, and studies showed a rapid decline of the tree canopy from a high of 53% in 2017 to 44% in 2019. The city passed an ordinance which took effect in 2021 that, when combined with a series of other city actions, has reversed this decline. We congratulate you, Mayor, on this award. Our next awardee is Central Falls Mayor Maria Rivera for her program, Catalyzing Climate Action in Low-Income Multilingual Communities. When elected in 2021, Mayor Rivera worked to bring all facets of her city's response together. This program shows how a fiscally strapped city government, one that is mostly a low-income immigrant community, can take the challenges of climate change through targeted investments in climate resiliency. Our congratulations to Mayor Rivera. The next awardee is Duluth Mayor Emily Larson. She's being recognized for Duluth's Climate Action Work Plan. Since Mayor Larson took office in 2016, this initiative has produced a 32% reduction in municipal emissions. The city's Climate Action Work Plan has provided a guiding framework for sustained climate action. Mayor Larson, congratulations to you and your city. Our final awardee is Largo Mayor Woody Brown. Look, Woody, where are you? There you are. Thanks, Woody. He's being honored today for his city's sustainability grant program, funding employee ideas to improve resilience and sustainability. This program seeks to recognize and capture ideas from his own city employees that improve the resilience and sustainability of city operations for the benefit of the broader community. Mayor, we want to congratulate you. Thank you. Now, drum roll, for our last awardee today, who is our first place winner in this category, River Forest Mayor Kathy Adusi, for her Cross Community Climate Collaborative. Yeah, give me the scream again. Okay, good. Obviously, her office is well represented here. This program brings together many jurisdictions and partners to make sure their multi-jurisdictional climate efforts bring everyone along. 14 jurisdictions working together on climate protection. Please welcome Mayor Adusi.
Well, it's great to come in this entrance. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors and President Miami Mayor Francis Suez, not only for the Village of River Forest Award recognition for the Cross Community Climate Collaborative, but for all the awards that have or will be given out today that recognizes communities taking lead to protect our climate. Thank you also, Amy Hill and Walmart, for their support in making these annual awards possible. As leaders of towns across our great country, we must all remember that our climate leadership efforts are significant and important. We are all stewards of our environment, and we must continue to take this responsibility seriously. I am so impressed to be in the company of all of you, along with our peers in communities all over the U.S. who may not be here with us today, but who join us in our determination to take on projects that matter now and for future generations. While I know that initiatives such as these can be challenging to get off the ground or even maintain, they are born out of our common passion to serve our communities and take an active role in protecting our planet. While C4 has earned first place award in the small city category, what is happening here is quite big. C4 is mighty and a shining example that when we are united through common goals, we are stronger and better for it. And this is when great strides are made and great things happen. None of this, of course, could be possible without the strong and strategic partnerships. This award also belongs to our partners, including the villages of Oak Park and Broadview, the Urban Efficiency Group, and 7 Generations Ahead. In addition to River Forest, Oak Park, and Broadview, 11 other communities have now joined us. So what is the Cross Community Collaborative, also known as C4? This initiative aims to address the climate crisis head-on and to work toward outcomes that support underserved communities so they can, too, have the tools to drive climate equity and sustainability solutions. Communities with strained resources benefit from C4 in that they are provided with a wealth of resources to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while creating employment opportunities for their low to moderate income residents. Energy products C4 is moving forward on include connecting residents with opportunities to make solar electricity more affordable, taking a look at buildings that could utilize solar energy, helping to procure community solar, and making energy efficiency programs. All of this happened because together, we recognize that collaboration can open many doors to renewable energy that benefits all communities, regardless of income and racial and ethnic lines. We recognize that we all are in this together, and now we are working together to create programs and share outcomes and resources that can be replicated across multiple communities. This is what we call a win-win-win all the way around. So let's talk about the impact we've made together so far. In River Forest and Oak Park alone, we have reduced our annual greenhouse gas emissions by nearly 34,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide through solar and renewable electricity purchasing, including community solar projects and community choice municipal aggregation. This is in addition to installing on-site solar arrays and making energy efficiency upgrades through our local electricity suppliers. Looking ahead and based on our work to date, our goal and vision puts us on pace with a net 45% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions over the next several years. With a target year of 2030, that is impressive reduction can realistically be reached. We are moving forward, and I would be remiss not to continue to recognize Oak Park Village President Vicki Skaman, along with the Village of Broadview's Mayor Katrina Thompson, and all the leaders of our 11 communities that have joined us, who have all played an integral role in ensuring we could achieve these impressive, albeit early results. Together, we are leading by example through the sharing of resources and forward thinking for climate leadership. Again, thank you so much on behalf of the Village of River Forest for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This concludes the Small City Awards. Now, I'd like to recognize our honorable mention categories in the Large City category. Our first Large City honorable mention winner is Akron Mayor Dan Horgan. He's being honored today for his city's modernizing Akron's district energy steam plant. His city's efforts to restore this legacy infrastructure is one of tenacity and promise, reminding us how tackling our climate problems is also an opportunity. At your tables, note the report on these award-winning programs. Akron's story is compelling. We congratulate Mayor Horgan. Our next awardee has just left office, and that is former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She's being recognized for Chicago's program seeking to achieve 100% renewable power for city operations by 2025. Our next awardee is Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. You saw her in the back there, so there she is. She is being honored for the city's Just Transition Strategy. This initiative seeks to ensure a more equitable transition for disproportionately impacted workers and communities from carbon-based energy, oil production within the city, to new opportunities including green energy alternatives. Congratulations, Mayor Bass. Our next table is, our next person winner, is sitting next to Mayor Bass, if the blinding light I can see properly, which is San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria. I always like to say that Los Angeles and San Diego are the second and third nicest cities in America, but his city's climate action plan is one of the most ambitious city efforts in the country, with the goal of achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2035. Mayor, congratulations to you for your leadership. And our last honorable mention awardee in this category is Tallahassee Mayor John Daly. Where are you, John? Okay, he's a Seminole. I'm a Gator and Kane. All right. He's being recognized for his City Farm TLH. It's an innovative, multifaceted program that transforms vacant city properties in areas of low food access into carbon sequestering urban farms. To Mayor Daley and all of our honorable mention awardees, congratulations. And now, I feel like an award, it's like the Oscars. And now, the final awardee today, our first place winner in the large city category, is my good friend, and you know he's going to talk about the fact that he beat us last night, Denver's mayor, who is being honored for his city's Climate Protection Fund. Our final awardee is no stranger to this organization. Notably, he has served all of us as the conference's Transportation Standing Committee Chair. Please join me in welcoming a guy who's one step closer to winning the mayoral bet, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock. All right, thank you all so very much. And to my good friend, Mayor Suarez, thank you for the first of 2 awards you'll give me this month. It is an honor to receive this award on behalf of my whole team and the people of Denver. In fact, I want to acknowledge the director, the executive director of the Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resiliency in the city of Denver, the incomparable Grace Rink. Would you just stand up, Grace, and be recognized on behalf of all the employees who make this happen? I also want to congratulate all the honorees. You know, all the cities are taking meaningful actions to reduce emissions, carbon emissions, so we can slow the pace of climate change and be more resilient in the face of this existential threat. The people of our cities want us to be leaders in climate space. Every minute, every hour, every day, every week that we delay our action, we are sacrificing the future for our children. So they want us to install solar panels and electrify our buildings and, yes, help them buy e-bikes. Whatever funding mechanism you have, mayors, whether from budgets, specific fees like Denver, a voter-supported sales tax, people are telling us, yes, we want you to be bold on climate action. So let me tell you a bit of a story how this came about. In the summer of 2019, a group of advocates had gathered enough signatures to put an energy tax on the fall ballot. This would increase electrical and natural gas bills, which they thought would motivate families and businesses to use less energy. I did not agree with this premise. I thought it would be regressive and it would hurt those who were on fixed income, people already struggling to pay their bills. So I sat down with them and the members of City Council that support it, and we created a new plan. Instead of moving forward with their ballot initiative, I created the Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resiliency, and hired Grace Rink to lead the office. I also created the Climate Action Task Force to develop recommendations on how this new office could take aggressive action toward climate change. It was this group who came up with the idea for a 0.25% sales tax dedicated to the new office. They presented the idea to City Council, and it was Council that was wise enough to move the initiative forward to the ballot. I gotta tell you, we weren't done yet. I had already pledged $5 million for this new office, and we recognized that as a city we couldn't go it alone, and that's why this initiative ballot was so important. And so we made the case to the community, and then when the votes were counted, the measure passed with support of more than 62% of the voters. Now, it can't be just about ballot measures and funding. We know as mayors we love ribbon cuttings. I got to tell you, I was proud to have been a person who snapped in the final solar panel for a huge community solar array. I was proud to promote at our National Western Center the nation's largest waste heat to energy system for a huge campus where we would host the National Western Stock Show. This large, over 270 acres of land would be nearly net zero through our efforts. And when we're trying to think of ways to get people out of their cars and not sit in traffic, something like e-bikes doesn't come to the top of mind. But it did for us in Denver. And I gotta tell you, it was a popular notion. In less than 1 year, over 5,000 people in Denver bought e-bikes through our program. Half of them people from low-income communities and households. They were able to take our rebates that we offered them and buy new e-bikes. Every time we offered up new rounds of rebates, they were claimed within minutes. Listen, we recognize that we've got an immediate threat. We all must seize the sense of urgency to address climate change. So I'm proud to accept this award on behalf of our Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resiliency. But let it also be a clarion call and a clear message that we've got to get to work, nation, to save our planet and to preserve the future of our children. I want to thank Walmart, especially my friend Amy Hill, for supporting this award
for the generous donation that will be given to a small nonprofit that is leading the way on local climate action in our city. And thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. God bless you all. Enjoy.
Thank you, Mayor Hancock, and congratulate on your award and cool it on the other one. And for your years of service to this organization, we will miss you. I can say that from a personal perspective as well. With that, we conclude our Climate Award session. Again, please join me in recognizing today's Climate Award winners and our awards sponsors. We thank you all. In today's interconnected world, access to reliable broadband, as we've mentioned, is no longer a luxury. It's an essential necessity for full participation in life. Recent Internet for All initiatives, including the Broadband Equity Access and Development Program, represents an unprecedented investment in broadband access, and cities must learn how to utilize these programs to achieve digital equity. We are fortunate to be joined today for this discussion by the President of Public-Private Partnerships for Broadband.Money, an organization that gives officials the tools needed to win and manage broadband grants. Broadband.Money is our title sponsor for this meeting, and we thank them for their support. Please help me in welcoming Scott Woods.
All right. So, good afternoon, mayors. Good afternoon. How are we doing today? Oh, come on, we can do better than that. I'm up here in a tight-ass suit. Am I the only one that got a tight suit on? Okay, all right. Depending on where you're from, it could mean different things, but it's a little tighter than it was when I last had it on. But it's my pleasure to be here with you today to talk about the importance of broadband expansion and digital equity in your communities and the impact that your actions will have. If you recall, I was with you at the 91st winter meeting in Washington, D.C., where we had a massive call to action for our mayors. And it's because state broadband directors, the state broadband offices are about to be flooded with historic federal funding from the NTIA that will be announced this month. And so the question is, are you ready? And more importantly, what will their legacy, i.e. your legacy, be? Is it one of politics, subjectivity, uncertainty, guesswork, that leads to disappointment or disaster? Or is it one that's precision, objectivity, confidence, results, and will lead to generations of success for all of our communities? And so we're introducing today, and we'll come out with our panelists in just a second, but we're helping local communities and we're helping them engage with their state broadband offices to do a number of different things. As you all know, NTIA mandates local coordination for the over almost $70 billion of broadband funding that's forthcoming. Incumbent providers, want to help, but they also, in some cases, stand in the way. There's tribal nations, but you should know that in this particular stage of where we at in the broadband funding, that local and regional governments, our cities, our municipalities play an important role in the challenge process that's going forward to ensure that you can identify unserved and underserved locations down to the geospatial address level in your community. Small and local providers are going to be the tailwind of this effort, of this historic federal funding, But the most important thing I want to leave with you today is that urban overlooked is systematically undercounted and underrepresented in the fabric map that's going to govern all of this historic federal funding. And so the call to action to you is clear. We need you to activate with your state broadband office. We need you to encourage them, again, to ensure that your communities in cities and municipalities across the country are included in the plans that move forward and the federal funding, the historic federal funding that will take place. So the message, mayors, are very clear. It's very clear. Time is running out. Let your state broadband offices know now that you demand your city's fair share. They can do that by participating in our challenge process coordinator module. And to discuss this a little further, we're about to go into a panel, and I'm about to call out our panelists for this particular session. So first, I'm going to call out a former mayor of Hutchinson, Kansas, and the current state broadband director for the state of Kansas, Jade Piros Carvalho. Now, we had walkout music, everybody, but they canceled it, so we have to live with this. So I had swag surfing. Jade had what, big energy. Yeah, big energy, but they kiboshed it. So just go with us. Just go with us. Next, we have Columbus's own. Just got to come up. There we go. Columbus's own Angie Seifert, the Executive Director of NDIA, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. Thank you very much. And then finally, last but not least, the very own mayor of Elmira, Ohio, Mayor Frank Whitfield. All right, so we've got a few minutes here. And Jade, I want to kick it off to you as being the only former mayor and now state broadband office director in the state of Kansas. Can you let the mayors here know, again, what should they do? How can they activate? How can they message their state broadband offices? What is our call to action today in light of this historic federal funding that's about to take place?
Yeah, well, thank you, Scott. That's a great question. Firstly, I want to acknowledge that as mayors, you have several competing priorities, and we recognize that. You have to care about crime rates, street maintenance, clean water, economic development. It's easy to relegate broadband to the sidelines as a peripheral priority. But the truth is that broadband exists at the intersection of all of those things and so many more quality of life issues for your constituents. It's what powers your traffic signals, what monitors your water quality, what enables effective communications for law enforcement and emergency management, and what helps you recruit businesses. But more importantly, is the impact it has on the individual households in your communities. Let's face it, the prevailing data surrounding broadband availability, for instance, the national broadband map, shows that cities are taken care of. There's nothing to see here, no broadband issues, leaving all of you ineligible for tens of billions of dollars in federal funding to help shore up broadband disparities in your communities. So my advice to you, call to action, is listen to the people who tell you there are broadband issues, because you know that's not the case, right? You know that you're not all taken care of. You likely hear from people all the time about their broadband issues, either on the affordability side or access to broadband. Because much like communities were redlined on the housing side for many decades, they have been digitally redlined in certain areas that have deemed unworthy of investment. So listen to those people, communicate with your state broadband offices. You can just Google Ohio State Broadband Office, Kansas State Broadband Office, and connect with us. And lastly, engage with a data partner who can help challenge those areas that are deemed served that you know are unserved. That will open up the potential for millions of dollars of investment into those areas, and again, help shore up those historical disparities.
Absolutely, thank you. And I think it's an important distinction to make that this mayor, or this broadband office director was talking about, that with our cities, multiple dwelling units, housing units, apartments, and condos, and the fabric map is counted as one location when we know that there are individual units, secondary addresses. Each unit has a family, and they have their own unique circumstances. So again, we need to make sure that we're activated so that we can make sure that you are not penalized for the shortcomings of the map. And that leads me, Mayor Frank, to you. You have a very unique perspective, being a former professor for digital training and computer training, and also now a mayor, right? And so can you describe some of the efforts that you've gone about in your city and some of the results and impacts that you've seen,
For sure.
particularly in digital equity and expanding access and infrastructure in your community?
For sure. Well, first off, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Broadband Money. Thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for hosting this session. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Good, good. So, yeah, as was mentioned, I used to be a computer instructor. During the Obama administration, I was a part of a team of 5. We trained over 2,000 folks and got them connected to broadband internet, was working with Angela on that. And now as mayor, I started January 2020. We know 3 months into it, everything went virtual. So it really became our moment to show the power of technology. And so, I'm really going to emphasize a lot around our mayors focusing on this digital inclusion piece. As you mentioned, as mayors, we have so many competing interests every day. But I want us to take broadband connectivity to technology as serious as we take public transportation and roads. And I really look at it as a 3-legged stool. The first is around access to affordable internet. And I think oftentimes, just because something on the map says there's a fiber line there, doesn't mean people can afford it. So if they can't afford it, it's not accessible. Similar to if you build a road, but people don't have cars, gas, or public transportation, it doesn't matter. The second piece is around quality devices. So we know there's a big difference. I know some of y'all still got flip phones around here, but we know those devices matter. So it's important to equip your residents with quality devices so they can be able to access this information superhighway. And then the last thing is really around relevant training. And as was mentioned, I was a computer instructor, and so when I came into office, I knew, hey, this is such an essential need. And I think they actually have a photo of some of the kind of disruptive ways we had to look at how to reach out to our community to make sure they had access to training. And so we reached out to our local Goodwill, and we said, hey, you're located right next to a pharmacy. You have a storefront here. Let us move these clothing racks out the way, set up a mobile lab here, just so that people can realize how easy it is to sign up for a class, how they can get access to a class, get access to training. And that became the catalyst for us to do our outreach. And we've trained hundreds since then. We're doing them in our rec centers now. But it was this sort of disruptive thinking that we had to have, because we don't want anybody to be left out. And as we know, so often marginalized communities get left out. And so this was one of the ways we tried to disrupt that mindset.
Absolutely, and on to you, Executive Director Seifert. Can you discuss the importance of combining strategies of both digital equity and affordable broadband access, and how those strategies should work together? And then for the mayors that represent cities here, what resources are available to them?
Thanks for having me, Scott. Welcome to Columbus. It's thrilling to have a conference in one's hometown. It's very exciting. Didn't have to go very far. I think Frank described it perfectly. Understanding the different barriers, that just because the access to the network is there doesn't mean people have it in their homes. We saw that in our faces, right, during the pandemic. We saw kids doing their homework in parking lots. Know that even when there's not a pandemic, kids are still doing their homework in parking lots or finding workarounds. So the barriers are the affordability, which right now we have the Affordable Connectivity Program, which I believe Commissioner Rosenworcel talked about with you earlier. But then also the devices. We need the appropriate device, as Frank said, that device that is quality, that meets one's needs. Just because you have that mobile phone, maybe a flip phone, maybe something else, it may not actually be meeting one's needs. And then there's the skills. What skills do folks need? And the part with the skills is that the skills piece never ends. We have to keep training folks. I was explaining to Frank earlier, I think he was one of the original digital navigators about a dozen years ago when we were working on that project together. And now there are digital navigators across the country. It's a model that's really expanded, the idea that there's somebody in the community who's trusted that folks can turn to. The information about digital navigators, the information on how one runs all these different programs is on NDIA's website. That's the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. We're at digitalinclusion.org. We very much have an open source model. Everything you need is there. So I welcome you to that, particularly the Trailblazers section. These are local governments who have shown how awesome they are. You'll see Columbus on that list because they've really knocked it out of the park between Smart Columbus's activities and the CIO for the city of Columbus, the library, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. So many folks have come together in Columbus, and that's what we need to see in every city across the country.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And you can also visit us at broadband.money/mayors to get information, sign up for our digital community, and get the most up-to-date information on what's going on in this historical federal funding effort. And so in our last few minutes here, I want a final question for the panel. We'll go in order again. So what is the potential impact of the historical federal funding of affordable broadband access and digital equity? And specifically, what will happen to communities that unfortunately will be left behind in this effort? So Jay, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Sorry, there's a fly up here, and I don't really want a Mike Pence moment, so I'm like trying to get it away from me and Angela, in case you're wondering. So the potential impact. Well, look, President Biden calls this effort Internet for All, but I like to think about it as opportunity for all, our tiny part in the restoration of the American dream. So the impact of Internet for All is that we infuse communities that have been under-resourced and left behind with investment, and we uplift those communities. We make them healthier and happier and better able to contribute to the greatness of your cities. If we fail, we perpetuate historical inequities that have existed for far too long and continue to leave people behind, which is unacceptable. I mean, no pressure, but yeah.
No pressure,
Yeah.
right? Angela.
This really is our opportunity. In the digital equity field, we talk about this as being our moment. This is when we have an opportunity to use this federal money, which is really exciting. There has been previous federal money, but never to the amounts we're talking about this time, including $2.75 billion just for digital equity. And by that, I mean the affordability, the devices, and the skills and tech support. This is our moment to figure out how we keep this going for the long term. Yes, the federal money is coming, but that federal money is really an opportunity to figure out systems change and how we create digital inclusion ecosystems, which means all of those programs are going nonstop all the time, because the technology is not going to stop. Are we all like, okay, the phone I have now, the computer I have now, the skills I have now, that's just good, I'm done. No, we know that's not true, right? The technology is going to keep changing, which means we, everybody in this room, we have to figure out how we keep our residents updated on how to use that, because that's their success. That's not only getting by, it's thriving in life.
And I would share, prior to being mayor, I was the president and CEO of the Lorain County Urban League, and we were a civil rights organization. And I see so many parallels with this issue and other issues that we face around housing, education. Again, as was mentioned earlier, communities getting left behind. And my fear, and I hope we encourage you all to feel a sense of fight, because the window is short here. And we know through the pandemic, having access to broadband technology became a life and death issue. If you couldn't get online, you couldn't register for a vaccine. If you couldn't get online, you couldn't communicate with your loved ones. So this is such a critical utility for our country, and we need to make sure nobody gets left behind in that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And if we can bring that final slide back up again, please, as we close out this panel. I want to bring up, there we go. Mayors, your call of action is clear. Time to act is right now, right? Time to act is right now. Let your state broadband offices know that you want to get your city's fair share. So again, on behalf of Ready.net, the parent company of Broadband.money, we are proud to serve as the corporate and title sponsor for your 91st meeting here in Columbus, Ohio. And let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. Thank you very much, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of the day.
Right.
right. This is the fun part of the day for me. What do you got there, bud? Agua? Agua sin gas? Okay. So before we move on to our next discussion, I want to make an announcement. On June 15th, we'll be accepting applications for the 2024 Childhood Obesity Prevention and Environmental Health and Sustainability Awards. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Since its launch in 2012, this amazing partnership between the U.S. Conference of Mayors and the American Beverage Association for a Healthy America has awarded nearly $5.8 million to cities of all sizes across the country to support programs that aim to improve the health and wellness of the nation's children, families, neighborhoods, and cities. In 2023, a total of $745,000 in fundings will be awarded to 9 cities across the country. The type of initiatives the award funds include childhood obesity prevention programs, environmental health and sustainability programs, or programs that are a hybrid of both of those. Every single member city of the United States Conference of Mayors, including service cities, is eligible to apply for this grant. And there is no limit on the number of applications a mayor can submit or support. The application can come from the mayor's office or any city department, and local nonprofits in your city are also eligible to apply with the mayor's support. Key point there. To learn more, visit usmayors.org, usmayors.org / I think this is the / right? Or is that the backslash? Healthy Cities, usmayors.org / Healthy Cities. You guys can figure out which the / is. Also, as part of our partnership with the American Beverage Association and Foundation, during our time in Columbus, we're providing an opportunity for mayors to record 30-second audio public service announcements, PSAs, on the importance of healthy communities. ABA will work following the annual meeting to place these PSAs in your local communities. Recording will take place in the APOD bank of rooms off the main concourse in the Convention Center on Saturday, June 3rd, Sunday, June 4th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9 to 5. Stop by when you have a chance to see if there are any open slots or schedule a session using the link in your agenda app. For our next panel, we're going to discuss the importance of exercise in our cities. This is a big deal for me, folks. I'm an avid exerciser, and I believe in the transformative power of exercise to promote mental health. Currently, only 28% of Americans are exercising enough and exercising on a regular basis, according to the CDC's physical activity guidelines. Our mental health and overall wellness are shaped by the daily steps we take on physical health and activity. Motion shapes emotion. Exercise decreases feelings of anxiety. I can tell you it works for me. It improves focus and concentration from children to seniors. It promotes the growth of new brain cells. It promotes and protects our brains from degenerative conditions like cognitive decline and dementia. Regular exercise, from cardiovascular to resistance training, contributes to nearly 50% of our brain health and functionality. Did you guys know that? 50%, 50. The lack of access to regular physical exercises on a sustained basis is a real and growing problem across our country. Cognitive decline is twice as common among adults who are physically inactive, according also to the CDC. And for those in community without access to fitness programs, wellness activities, and opportunities to invest in their health and medical health metrics, they remain challenging, from combating PTSD all the way to heart disease. Fit citizens, as we know, are happy citizens, and happy citizens, we know, build healthy communities. But it also improves our social wellness through mental health. The average American has 3.4 poor mental health days per month, if you can believe that. That's at least one rough day a week. For those who exercise on a regular basis, the number of poor mental health days drops by 40%, 40. In fact, researchers conclude that 3 to 5 45-minute exercise sessions per week delivers optimal mental health benefits for anyone who does it. And physical exercise has 4 times the impact on brain health, from cardio and strength training to yoga and Pilates. Prioritizing fitness and wellness early and proactively for all of our communities can improve the health of our brains, our hearts, and the shared quality of life for everyone. So please, help me welcome my friends and workout partners, Vice President Hillary Sheevy and Second Vice President Andy Ginther.
Hi, nice job. What's up?
So we didn't plan this initiative and we said this in the press conference, as a Republican, Independent, and Democrat. But it just sort of worked out that way, and it's something that we're very proud of to collaborate on. And I think one of the exciting things is that one of our collaboration partners happens to have his headquarters in, you guessed it, right here, Columbus, Ohio. That's right. So a recent domestic and international studies show that minimal physical activity, minimal being 150 minutes or 2 hours and a half per week, have a profoundly positive impact on our health and well-being. And of course, more is better. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, who we all love, 1 out of every 2 U.S. adults is living with a chronic disease such as heart disease, cancer, or diabetes, leading to disability, premature death, and higher healthcare costs. Also, we found in our recent mental health survey of cities, which our incoming president is going to share with us, depression and loneliness are leading mental health challenges among our young people, and that the mental health and behavioral health crisis is a top concern among you, our mayors. The good news is that even a small amount of physical activity can have an immediate positive impact on reducing symptoms of anxiety in adults, young people, and our older population. But simply telling you all to be more physically active isn't going to be enough. We must provide your cities with the opportunity and access to the tools necessary to achieve these goals. These tools include making it safe, easy, and accessible to exercise and play in our cities and parks for all people, including our older adults and individuals with disability. So, we know the data is there to support us encouraging our residents to be physically active, but we want to discuss today is the how do we do it? How can and are we as mayors providing the opportunities for our residents to be more physically active and improve mental health outcomes? Often that work includes partnering with other groups, like I just mentioned, with other mayors and other groups, including nonprofits and members of our business community. Mayors, thank you for joining me for this discussion. So I'm going to kick it off by sharing what I'm doing to engage with our Miami residents, and I think we have a video that we're going to play.
Hey, Dave Castro with CrossFit. Really excited about this new initiative that Mayor Suarez is leading in Miami.
Come on. Booyah! My name is Noah Olson. I'm a CrossFit Games athlete, and I've been doing CrossFit in the city of Miami for the last 13 years.
Go snatches and thrusters. Every day is a great day to get better. There we go.
There's nothing better we can do than to give back to the communities, give back to people who really can't afford the power and strength that is this program in terms of physically making improvements in individuals, but also mentally giving them something to strive for, giving them something to work hard for, and improve themselves and ultimately improve their communities.
1, that's it. 2.
Obviously, fitness is great for your body, but it also produces a hormone in your body called endorphins that are the feel-good hormone. They make you enjoy the rest of your day, get you excited for life. Every time that I work out, I always feel better, even if I don't quite want to before I get started.
You get better out here so you can be better in real life. Let's go.
So, really excited to partner with the City of Miami and Rogue Fitness to make this happen. CrossFit's all in. Thanks.
1, 2, 3, Miami!
All right. So this sort of birth child of this, you saw Dave Castro, who's a Navy SEAL, and the Navy SEALs have a motto. Mm-hmm. They say the only easy day was yesterday, right? That's their motto. And so, I reached out to both of you and thought about knowing that Rogue is located here in Columbus, Ohio, and CrossFit is a national brand, what can we do to promote resiliency among our children, particularly those who can't afford to go to gyms, which we know is $100 or $200 a month? And what can we do to make it low cost for our cities to provide tools for people to be able to deal with the stressors before they become mental health issues. So Mayor Sheevy, I just want you to share with us some of the steps that you're taking in Reno to support your residents' physical activity goals and support their mental health conditions, which you've been a big champion of.
Well, thank you. And also thank you to Rogue. Really important to have these relationships. That's one thing, like as a mayor, use your power to reach out to, people doing things in your cities that you absolutely love, especially with physical fitness and things like that, because they want to work with you. The minute you pick up the phone, usually they're like, oh no, am I in trouble? Why is the mayor calling? But it's a great way to build partnerships like you've done. So that makes a lot of sense. I also say take advantage of things that you're probably not thinking of, like open space where I live. There's a lot of areas where they're prone to flooding. And we are turning those into massive soccer fields, which is really great because then people obviously have a use for them, but also then people don't come to you and say, hey, Mayor, I'd love to buy that land from you for really cheap. No. So that, and then also take advantage of like shopping malls early in the morning where you can do a lot of walking, especially like with our older seniors, really important to keep them active. So I think look for opportunities. You hit the nail on the head. The prescription for physical activity is so important with our mental health, now more than ever. And you would be surprised, I think mayors, we get so caught up in our lives and how crazy they get, and they're very stressful. Even if you just walk 10 minutes a day, it can change your mental health and your endorphins dramatically, even if it's 10 minutes a day.
I agree.
So that's how kind of like, I think all of us have to look at it. It's just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, and I love that. It's just, in other words, starting gradual. I actually program it into my day, actually schedule it in my day like an appointment. Yep. And I think what motivated me is, look, we've done a lot of work as a country, and you're doing phenomenal work on understanding how to deal with mental health once it becomes a mental health issue, right? And the treatment and the medicine that's necessary oftentimes to rehabilitate people, bring them back to who they are and to being productive members. But what are we doing to prevent people from getting there, right? And what are we doing particularly for the youth and even the elderly in our community to keep them active? By the way, there's not just a mental health component here, there's a physical health component. Our city, I'm sure like yours, has a big public hospital, and we do hundreds of millions of dollars of indigent care. Sure. And we don't know how much money we can be saving if our residents are just living healthier lifestyles. So thank you, Mayor Sheevy, for your leadership. You know, you've been making mental health a big priority, and I'm excited as you enter into the presidency to see how you're going to build on all these initiatives and make this the focal point. Mayor Ginther, I turn to you. Obviously, same question. You've taken some great initiatives here in Columbus, and obviously you have Rogue here, which was just a happy coincidence when I started this process, because I have Rogue equipment in my home, and it was just like, wow, this is like God sent, right? God wants us to do this because it is in the city that we are going to be hosting this and our second vice president. So tell us a little bit about your initiatives.
Well, thanks for doing your part for the Columbus economy by having that Rogue equipment in your basement. No, we're thrilled. Rogue is an incredible partner. Bill and his team over at Rogue are great leaders in this community, and thrilled about this partnership that you've been able to put together with CrossFit and Rogue. You're absolutely right, and particularly in many of our cities around the country, we've seen an uptick in youth violence, and also seen our young people. I always argue the folks most disproportionately negatively impacted by the pandemic were our young people. And so we're making restorative investments in youth programming, after-school programming, summer camps, summer youth employment, internships, and that's all part of it because, as Vice President Sheevy said, our kids are feeling more disconnected, isolated, depressed, and part of that is due to lack of physical activity, having safe places where they can gather and exercise. And I know from my own personal life, in the last couple of years, I was telling Vice President Sheevy this morning, I lost my mom, my dad, and my niece in a tragic car accident, all in the midst of the last couple of years as mayor. And so it was critically important for me. I was not taking care of myself, both physically and mentally and spiritually, and was continuing to try to do my job as mayor. And this is part of it. It's about making sure we're getting our mental health needs met, making sure that we're being physically active in whatever way. If you're not a CrossFit or a rogue person, there's lots of other ways that we can be active. But physical activity, particularly for our young people, I think has to be part of our strategy to restore what's been lost over the last couple of years.
You know, I call it body hacking, which is trying to optimize your ability to perform. I mean, we're being asked to manage large budgets. Oftentimes, you know, depending on the system of government, you're asked to be the COO of a large corporation. There's a lot of stress involved. There's a lot of back and forth. We have a private life, presumably, where things happen.
We do?
Where things supposedly happen.
I didn't know that.
Things happen in our private
my
life.
life isn't
We have
24/7
things happen.
mayor?
Some of us have jobs.
Yeah.
You have
Right?
a job?
I have a job.
Oh, I heard.
Multiple.
I heard.
And so, you know, you have all of these tension points, right? And you've got to find time, like you said, for yourself, right? I'm always reminded of when you get in an airplane, they always tell you, you know, put on your mask before they put on the other person's oxygen mask. You know, and so I think this partnership is just an attempt to give our mayors some basic tools using already available, like you said, Mayor Shivi, already available either land, you know, and people power to provide this resource for the broader public who can't afford, they just can't afford $100, $200. Because a lot of people can afford it. And by the way, I recommend that they join one of these communities, a gym community, because there's a second piece to this, which is the loneliness piece. It's not just about working out. You're part of a community. You make friends, things of that nature. So, you know, we know the private sector, obviously, in this initiative has become a strong partner and helps us do the critical work in our cities. And I asked this to both of you, you know, who are some of your private sector partners that you're working with to help on mental health related issues?
Yeah, one of the things I would also bring up, I think now more than ever, every single mayor should have a component of physical activity, especially to get kids outside. I think is super critical because now more than ever, I mean, they're in their phones constantly 24/7. And we are finding out,
Great point.
quite honestly, how technology, yet it can be so wonderful, but it can also have a drastic impact, especially for our younger age groups. It's a crazy statistic. I was just telling Morning Joe this morning. So 49% of ages 18 to 24 in this country say that they are suffering from anxiety and depression.
Wow.
49%. So that's almost half.
Wow.
So think about that. So even more so as mayors, we have got to get people outside, get also their physical fitness is going to be incredibly important. And I just know from a lot of the work that I'm doing how that physical activity, and like you talked about the endorphins, how important that is to change your chemistry. Because a lot of times it can get very, very chemical. So if you are a mayor, you should absolutely have an outdoor physical fitness component because it can be life and game changing, especially I hear it all the time from young kids telling me it's the only thing that kind of saved them. And I will just tell you really quickly, if you don't know probably a little bit about my story, I grew up as a figure skater, and I had two siblings that really suffered from depression and anxiety, and here I was, I think my figure skating actually kind of helped my mental health.
Of course.
And my brother and my sister were not active like I was, but I was very, very active, and that's probably what set me apart. So that's why I think it did save me.
And I think you made a great point, and I'm going to go to you, Mayor Ginther. You made a great point about children nowadays, where, listen, I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. My 9-year-old, if I let him play with his tablet from morning to night, my wife, of course, would never do this, but if I let him do it, he would be on it all day. And I think there is a dopamine kind of like connector there where, and what are opioids? They give you a dopamine rush, right? It's chemical, and then you get a trough, and then you want to catch that, go back to that. And that's where we've got to find natural ways to replace that, to give you those resiliency tools. Mayor Ginther, can you talk a little bit about your private sector partnerships and how they help you do the critical work in your city and expand the work that you do?
Yeah, I mean, our private sector is phenomenal here in Columbus, blessed with great leadership that's really kind of committed to the common good, the civic good here in Columbus. And so many partnerships with Nationwide Children's Hospital. We're really proud that it's got one of the largest behavioral and emotional mental health service offerings here at Nationwide Children's Hospital in the country. And what we're trying to do there is make sure that that becomes part of children's hospital campuses all over. I mean, when you think about it, if you have, as a parent, you know, if you walk up to another parent and their child is battling, you know, cancer or has a rare heart condition, we give them a hug, we give them support, we continue to lift them up in our prayers. But oftentimes when we run into parents who have children who have mental health or addiction issues, we don't quite know what to do.
Yes.
You know, and so we're really blessed to have Nationwide Children's Hospital leading the way for that here. And we're really building on everything from our walk with the mayor and other things that we started during the pandemic, because it was one of the few things we could do safely outside. Yeah. And I heard some of the great ideas, some innovative things, walking with residents in our parks outdoors in the midst of the pandemic. Even before we had access to the vaccine, we just safely distanced and took care of each other. But it's a way for us to stay connected and be physically active outside, and it's such an important part for young people.
I love the Walk with the Mayor initiative. You know, I do a Mayor's Fitness Challenge or Mayor's Fit Challenge that I post on a weekly basis, once a week. I do a workout, limited equipment, because I don't know if some people have equipment or not. Yeah. And then I give them what I call a scaled down version, meaning that they can do it without equipment, right? And then I challenge the community. I say, hey, can you do it? And you don't have to do it at the same weight I do it. Some people do it more, some people do it less. But it's just an interactive way of staying connected with your community, of sharing with your community something that you love. I love to work out. It's one of the things I love to do. I feel like it's something that I do on a regular basis. But this Walking with the Mayor initiative, I love that. I would ask all of you mayors to think about how you can do things socially and publicly to display your fitness, and invite your residents at some level to do it with you, whether it's virtually or whether it's in person. I think that is super powerful, and it sets a tone. Look, Mayor Shivi said this. We have different roles, right? One role is we've got to run our government, but the other role is we're expected to be leaders. And to be leaders, people expect us to be examples, to give examples of what a healthy lifestyle, healthy living is. And I think Walking with the Mayor is a wonderful example. And obviously, I think sharing your testimony, which is something that I'm going to do later this week. I'm going to share my testimony on mental health, which is very scary, I have to say. It's very scary. Hey, listen, my wife and I dealt with infertility. It was very difficult for us to talk about it. It was like a stigma, and we created something in our church on infertility. But I'm going to share my mental health story as well later this weekend, and I'll tell you that, Mayor Ginther, you're absolutely right. When you talk about, both of you have opened up and talked about how events in your life, events with your family have challenged you and made your role more complex in a way, because you have to deal with everything you're doing plus. Right. People often forget we're human beings. Yeah. And I think what's beautiful about this conference is that we come together as human beings. Nobody really, like you're always quoting Bill Peduto, nobody really looks at us as a party. We look at each other as human beings. And in some cases, this is the only time where we get looked at as human beings and feel sort of that warmth and the protection. So I want to thank all of you for being a part of this and for participating in this conference, because you are helping us as mayors have a healthier lifestyle, get away a little bit, disconnect, and understand that we can look at things from a 50,000-foot perspective, that we can plan and have vision, and that everything has to be execution in the moment. So I just really want to thank you guys. I don't know if you guys have anything to add. A couple minutes left.
I would just say, you know what? Walk with the mayor, I can't run again, so I'm not going to do it, but any of you campaigning, it's a very good initiative whenever you're getting ready to run again, to do that often and out there, and people can see you, they can walk with you. You'd be surprised how many people will follow that. And it's very easy, and it promotes fitness, but also it gets people out in your community that get to know you, so it's a great way to use as a campaign tool.
Love it.
And so I've seen a lot of mayors do it, and it's very, very successful. But it's also a great way to get outside, get outdoors, and get active. And I appreciate you for your leadership on this initiative, because we don't talk enough about how important that physical aspect is. And a lot of people rely on all of you out there and all of us every single day. So we have to be in top shape. It's so easy to say that, isn't it? But because we do have such stressful jobs. But we have wonderful jobs too. So at the same time, we have to take care of ourselves to do those jobs.
Yeah, and I would just say, last piece of advice is something we've already said today. Schedule it, make it gradual, as you said.
Yes.
Be gradual, start in small increments. And I would just like to finish up in terms of the program itself. What we're gonna be putting together is a package, right? And the package will be on the one side, equipment, and how you can get it at a discounted rate, and do the procurement process for your cities. And the other part is the instructional component, which is CrossFit. And I want to thank Dave and Bill, Dave from CrossFit and Bill from Rogue, because they've been working tirelessly to put this together. We want to make sure that in your parks department, your employees can get access to the instructional videos to get certified, and then they can offer these instructional courses for free. The idea is, at the end of the day, is to offer this for free, because particularly low-income residents, elderly, they can't afford the $100, $200. They just can't afford it. And I think with very, very modest investments, you can offer this at scale to the lower income residents in your community, and you're promoting healthcare outcomes that you can't even imagine, that you can't even quantify. And so again, thank you all. Thank you for partnering with me. Thank you for believing in this initiative. I look forward to partnering with you in the future with your wonderful initiatives as you guys become president. I look forward to your mental health initiatives.
And CrossFit's so important right now. Well, popular.
Yes, it is.
A lot of demographics that are doing it. So if you're a mayor, CrossFit is like one of the coolest things in fitness to be doing.
Please join me in welcoming and thanking our panelists for that discussion. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Hang tight.
Pickleball.
What's
Pickleball.
up?
Thank you.
Great.
Hang tight. Tomorrow, we're going to be recognizing members of our elected leadership who will be leaving office before our January winter meeting. It's always a very sad event. But before we conclude, I want to take a minute to recognize one of our advisory board members who will not be with us tomorrow. Mayor Frank Ortis. Where are you, Mayor? Are you around here somewhere? Okay, there you are. Love you, brother. He served the citizens of Pembroke Pines, very, very close to Miami, Florida, in city government for, get this, 27 years. I'm a little older than 27, just a little bit, including his 4 terms as mayor. He's been an invaluable member of the United States Conference of Mayors. He served on our advisory board since 2006. That was before I was even a councilman. From all of us at the United States Conference of Mayors, Frank, we thank you for your dedication to our organization and your tireless efforts and commitment to uplift your city and our cities. We wish you the best. Let's have a round of applause for Mayor Ortis. Thank you all for patiently joining us today. This initiative was very important to me. I think it could be really significant in our country if we start focusing on prophylactic things that help prevent our residents from getting to crisis. That's what we've got to avoid. We've got to spend time and resources on as a country to prevent our young adults, our young children, and our elderly from getting to crisis. Another important standing committee meeting is listed in your agenda, and mayors, of course, are invited to the mayors only session on state legislatures preempting the powers of cities. We talked a lot about this during our press conference, which starts at 4:45. And tonight I look forward to seeing all of the meeting attendees at our host city event, The Art of the U.S., or The Art of Us. I'm sorry, I thought it was The Art of the U.S. Constitution or something. The Art of Us, sometimes when you're reading off a prompter, things can get a little funky. The Art of Us at the Columbus Museum of Art. This session is adjourned. Thank you for your patience and thank you for sticking with us.